Doc Slab Audio on music production and audio engineering. Welcome to Doc Slab Audio and our Insights series. I do believe this is the 12th video in our Insights series, and in this video we want to talk about why small moments in time matter so much in captured audio. So first of all, the biggest thing here I kind of want you to understand, we went through flow editing in my first master series, but the concept here really relates to why you want to get such a good performance and a good capture. So, and I kind of want to point that out because there's only so much you can do. This way you have a better understanding of why that is so important and not beat yourself up as an engineer thinking you're not doing a good job because you can't make Cindy sound like Whitney Houston or something. So the concept here is pretty simple. If you take an FFT of, a sound or something, then so you have like 256 samples. That might be several cycles of a sinusoid or the waveform you're dealing with to try to get a picture of what that harmonic content looks like, okay? So, which means that it's different during every cycle, but so many cycles can give a reading of basically what you're looking at. And to get an understanding of that, there's a vocal that says, do your magic, make me feel fine, or make me sound good. You remember that from a long time ago that I used this as an example. But in a small performance it goes like, and then I want to go free, or just think of anything very short that would be maybe from here to here. I mean, very short amount of time, and a really good performance. All the things that happen in that, it's unbelievable, all the changes that happen. And to give you an example of that, if you go down into here, this is one cycle. From here, going down, going up, back to here. Now, through this area, there are so many cycles, it's not even funny. Now, in between those cycles, look at all the changes that are happening to this waveform. This is from one cycle to the next cycle, basically, and in between there, look at all the other stuff's going on. It's unbelievable the complexities that are happening. So everything that happens in that very short performance is hugely important. You're not going to fix it by getting out your little cutting tool and go, and I'm going to push that up a little bit and that down a little bit. And then for this one cycle, 12 years later, you'd be going, and then I got to the 20,000th cycle. Oh, God. That's ridiculous, right? But you have to understand how complex it is. So that just that short performance, and then I go, just something like that, and it could be anything, something really hard to do, that all the stuff happening there in the waveform is unbelievable. And you just go on and on. It's just not the cycles themselves that are different. The cycles themselves are different. Inside of the cycles is a whole nother world, a micro world. So that performance and how good of a capture you do is monumental. I mean, it's huge, bro, for you to have any luck having a good sounding production. And if you get into that looking something like RX, you can get in there and zoom in on this and see right down to the samples. You can say, well, you got this little area here, just this guy saying, trying to do a good performance there, and you come in there trying to figure out what's going on. Look at how many, if you get in there and look, how many cycles there are. And in RX here, it's a little bit smooth. You seem a little bit rougher in the DAW. But you look at how many cycles are going along in there. And it's showing it here a little bit smooth, but even in the smoothing between one cycle and the next, all the other stuff's happening. And if you zoom in there more, you start to see how many samples are between there. It's unbelievable, the size of audio file, how many samples that it's dealing with, right? Trying to get sample rate and bit depth to make that capture that performance. And so just in between here and here is one cycle. And you back out a little bit, how many cycles we're dealing with. You know, back out a little bit more, how many cycles is that? That's just from this guy going, just that quick. What all's going on there to make it sound good, bro? How you going to edit that whole thing to make that sound good? Well, it's going to be kind of difficult. You know, I talked about flow editing, and we can do quite a bit, but we can only do so much if we don't really understand why such small amounts of time or small moments in time matter so much, you know, in captured audio and of our performances and how good a captures we do, because of how important it is. It's unbelievable. So that when we get into our DAW and you're going to try to fix this with an equalizer, what? You're going to get in there and fix that with an equalizer, bro? I mean, look at this. That's one cycle. Look at all the changes inside of this sinusoid. Well, it's not a sinusoid, it's a complex waveform, but look at all the changes going on. That's causing saturation, distortion, harmonic content changes, all kinds of sounds, the way that waveform is moving along the way that it is. And you getting in there trying to edit each, it would be bad enough just you having to edit each one of these cycles. Does that make sense? But you trying to get in there and edit, you know, the microcycles inside here it's unimaginable. There's no way to do that. And when you got a really good performance of a really good vocal or guitar lead or, you know, a sax performance or anything, it's all in there, bro. And you're not really going to fix that with some EQ. What you're going to do as an engineer, you're going to do light editing, light processing to fix major issues, and you're going to enhance it to make a good performance and a good capture sound bigger than life. But you're not going to take that is something. It's like you've got Cindy and she wants you to make her sound like Whitney Houston. Well, she needs to sound more like Whitney Houston, sound like more like Whitney Houston, bro, because the microphone's not going to do it. It's not going to happen in there, and you are not going to probably be able to edit that. You will die in front of the mixing board. If you look, we talked about how big audio files are when we were looking at audio file formats and things like that. It's unimaginable the amount of information you're dealing with when you're getting your caption at, because of how complex even the vocal transducer, all the complex things it does with volume modulation, frequency modulation, you know, slides that are different types of modulation, frequency content, harmonic distortion, saturation, noise, and that can all change from one moment to the next in very, 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 very teeny moments that cause the performance to sound magical and the performer to sound magical. And you really want to get focused there and working on it and teaching people that you're working on their sound. Even in something Melodyne, you can look at all the harmonic content at one single moment, you know, at one single moment, and that's not even down to a gnat's butt. That's about as far as close as they'll get, but it's still pretty close to seeing what's going on there. So, I mean, I kind of wanted to make this video to show you that, so that you really get focused on your performances and your captures, and you really understand the importance of that, so that when you're enhancing things to make them bigger than life, you know, that you're not trying to kill yourself and as an engineer thinking it's your problem, when it's in the composition and performance and the capture that you're never going to make that sound like something it's not. Okay, it's your job to do slight edits, slight processing to repair any issues you have, and then do processing and editing to enhance it, to make it sound better in life, deal with little issues, make it sound better in reality, you know. But you're not gonna get down to that level and fix those issues. It has to be in the performance, in the capture. So you don't kill yourself that, so that you will become a much better engineer. You'll become a much better producer understanding that, so you really get in there and focusing on that, so that way that you can do magic with good stuff, and how important every teeny little small moment in time is that causes these great performances, and have these great captures that you hear these audio engineers do magic with, that it's like, wow, it's bigger and badder and cooler in real life, because they had something badass to work with to begin with, because they made sure of it. The producer made sure of it, the performer made sure of it, the recording engineer made sure of it, and then that way they can do magic. And why that is, I'm trying to show you where that's micro analysis of that, to see where the magic actually happens, that you just make, that you do the next level of magic to make it bigger and cooler in real life. And don't kick yourself around when you don't have magic to work with. So peace, self-love. I certainly hope you enjoyed this next video in our new series, and I will see you in the next video.